lessons that we learned from 9/11 and other funds that you have been able to manage is a test of your integrity, your expertise, your human understanding of the suffering that is required to make a facility like this an effective vehicle to help the people of the Gulf to recover. So thank you for your service. Mr. Feinberg, studies have shown that businesses who get cash assistance shortly after they are impacted by a natural disaster or any kind of disaster are much likely to succeed than those who have to go to a prolonged wait for financial assistance. Early payments by BP to small businesses have been limited to 1 month's worth of lost profits. Small businesses say these payments are too little to cover operating expenses and payroll. Are you considering modifying this method to allow businesses to secure upfront payments beyond a month's profit?
Yes. Governor Riley of Alabama and Senator Landrieu of Louisiana both suggested to me that when it comes to small businesses, instead of month-to-month emergency payments, Mr. Feinberg, how about a 6-month lump sum payment or something like that to give small businesses more certainty? Absolutely, we plan to do something like that.
Very good. For many small businesses, compensation received from the claims fund is going to be tied to economic losses. Similarly, the Small Business Administration is now making loans for economic damages as well. Depending on how the claims fund classifies its assistance, the Small Business Administration could recognize assistance from the claims fund as duplicative and reduce its loans amounts to affected business owners. Are you going to take steps to ensure that the BP fund assistance is not classified as duplicative of other assistance like SBA disaster loans, which will then result in a reduction of loans to businesses?
This is the first I've heard of this problem. I will look into this problem. Under the program that I'm establishing, I want to note the flip side of that. I'll look into that issue, Madam Chairwoman. But under the program I'm deciding, like the 9/11 fund, if a small business receives insurance or other collateral sources of payment tied to the spill, that money would be we would offset that amount. It's already been received against whatever ultimate long-term award we would give. But I will look into that issue for you.
The Small Business Administration has approved less than 20% of the disaster loans it has received from the Gulf small businesses, very low. Given this low percentage, Louisiana's Economic Development Secretary, Stephen Moret, requested that the Small Business Administration consider the promise of future BP payments in assessing loans requests. So it is very important that you have a process in place to get this information to the Small Business Administration so that they can fully understand the financial standing of loan applicants.
I completely agree with that. One of the hurdles I confront, and I must say, Governor Jindal, when I met with him in Baton Rouge, made this point repeatedly, that the data that is available to date is so inadequate in advising other governmental agencies and state officials that is one of my top priorities, to make sure that credible data is made available to regulators at the federal and state level for precisely those reasons.
Very good. And many of the claims coming from Florida may relate to lost tourism dollars. In some cases, the decline in value could be based on the public misperception of tar balls on beaches. Will these claims be considered valid even if there is no physical damage to real estate or surrounding beaches?
Now that is a tough question.
I know.
Clearly, under Florida law, I think it's fair to say that it's not compensable. If there's no physical damage to the beaches and it's public perception, I venture to say that it is not compensable. How we deal with that problem is something I've got to address. That's in this area where some discretion is going to have to be exercised, but at the same time, I have to appreciate what the governing law of Florida and the other states is in that regard. But it's a fair question, and you posed it, so we'll look into it.
Thank you.